Okay, I'm gonna do a roll call vote. And it certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempt from open meeting requirements under the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed session were heard, discussed, and considered during the closed session. Mr. Townsend?
Yes.
Mrs. Stiff?
Yes.
Dr. Ariady?
Yes.
Mrs. Kimbrough?
Yes.
Mrs. Carson?
Yes.
Dr. Corbett?
Yes.
Mr. Tackett?
Yes.
Let's stand and say the pledge of allegiance, please. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I just want to say welcome to everybody to, and good evening to the Prince Edward County School Board meeting. We're going to continue with the agenda. Are there any additions and approve the agenda? Do you have a motion to approve?
I move we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Second. All in favor? All right. We're at number 8. Awards, recognitions, commendations, introductions. VSBA honor roll recipients.
Mr. Foster.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, school board members, and Dr. Cox. The Virginia School Board Association established a business honor roll to allow local school divisions to submit local businesses who support public schools with their support and generosity. These businesses have the power to shape community attitudes about public schools, and the VSBA Business Honor Roll is a way for local school divisions like ours to recognize these businesses for their support. PECPS would like to say thank you to the following businesses. And we have members here from Haley and Prince Edward Animal Control. So we're going to start with Prince Edward Animal Control and also B&M, but they're not able to be here this afternoon. So I'd like to do that now. Ms. Whitmer, Mr. Mumma, and Mr. Stanley. Give me a second. These are sticking together. Thank you, guys. It's been a pleasure getting to know y'all and for all your help. The students just love working with y'all. So I'm going to give this to you.
We're hopeful in a couple of years we could open our new shelter and have even more students help us inside the facility.
Absolutely. And when I go there, the guys are just working hard and taking care of the animals. So, want to take a photo?
Yes.
How would you like to do that?
If you can stand right over where they are, we can
Okay.
do that right there. Perfect. Oh, y'all want to
Propping up later.
Thank y'all. Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you. The next one is Haley Automo, which basically supports our auto tech program. We have with us tonight Amy Cooper and Chris Call. Thank you. Thank you. And guys, I don't know if y'all ever been there, but they have the cutest dogs. They have French bulldogs, and I love going there and petting them. So.
Do you get a card and get a dog?
My wife would kill me if I let go of one of those. Thank y'all very much. We really appreciate the program, hope to grow it. It's a great way to get the students into a great trade and a great career path. So it's worked out very well. Hopefully we continue to grow in the future.
And the kids love being with you guys, partnering with y'all. So
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
And I'll follow up with B&M and take the certificate to them.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Good evening again, Madam Chair, Dr. Cox, and board members. If we could have Ms. Hannah Reamer, second grade teacher from the elementary school. We would like to present Ms. Reamer a certificate for applying for the Region 8 of the Virginia Department of Education Hometown Teacher Award. Ms. Reamer will receive $7,500 per year for the next 4 years.
Wow.
For actually graduating from college and coming to the school that she graduated from and attending here for 4 and working for 4 years. So each year, congratulations and thank you so much. And we work with Mrs. Jones on making sure we get those payments to you each year. Finance to go from there. Thank you, congratulations.
Okay, we're at number 9, the public participation. We have one person who has signed up. You come to the podium if you would like to speak, and let me go over the guidelines before you start, okay? The purpose of the public comment portion of the meeting is to direct comments to the board and/or provide information. The board listens to each comment and does not engage in dialogue with the speaker. Comments should be respectful and demonstrate consideration for others by not referring to any specific person or personal incident. When the speaker's time expires, the board chair will give a signal and the speaker should conclude his or her comments. Each participant has up to 5 minutes to speak. The superintendent will provide the speaker with a follow-up response on behalf of the board. Thank you in advance for following this procedure. Your cooperation ensures that all individuals can share their comments while also allowing for a timely completion of the board's agenda. Can you give us your name and your address?
My name is Shantae Wilson. My address is 312 Highway Shop Road, Farmville, Virginia.
Ms. Wilson?
I'm here today to inform you all that I am proceeding with my lawsuit against the county for violating my son Hakeem Wynn's educational rights. Most of you all are not aware that on April the 30th,
Okay, don't use names.
We can't, you can make an appointment and come see us privately, but can't do it in open because it's personnel.
due to an altercation that occurred on April the 30th,
We have to follow the law because that's not how we do it. If you'd like to make an appointment with the school board or administrators, we can do that.
okay,
And
so,
you can explain what's going on.
okay, well, no one explained anything to me. I still haven't gotten any paperwork.
I'll help you look into that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I can tell you. I'll help you look into it. I'll be glad to help you look into it. Why you didn't get any paperwork or whatever.
No, I did not.
Okay.
Okay, if you give me a card, I'll just have my attorney talk to you.
Yeah. And I'll get your number. I got your number.
Yeah, it's on that paper.
It's on the paper.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give you my number and you can call me.
Okay.
Okay? I'll meet you at the door. Yeah. we're on number 10, consent agenda.
I make a motion, we accept the consent agenda.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Okay.
All right. Information item, number 11. English construction.
Good evening, school board members, Dr. Cox. Thank you guys for having me again. My name's Alex Amos, Vice President of English Construction Company, in charge of the wonderful elementary school expansion and renovation project that you see unfolding around you. So a lot has happened since we stood here before you guys about 30 days ago. You could see shiny roof deck going on, the new addition. Now from the highway, lot has changed. Most notably, our new electrical service switchover happened this week. That had been in the works and planning with staff and school members for over 8 months. Outside entities, Dominion Energy, and it has gone well. So, power out to the school. We have next 3 weeks of planned outages, replacing electrical panels, working with Mr. Crabtree and staff to keep critical IT functions running as we are here tonight while that is dark. So a lot has happened, a lot will continue to happen with that, but all is going well so far. Cafeteria started on Monday, the cafeteria work. We only had 44 short working days to do that work this summer. We have 39 days left, so we have so far cut the ties from the dock and the ship is floating, so we got no choice but to land on the other side. The roof work, as you may as well notice from Zion Hill Road, is the administration building. We have going fast pace there with the new shingle replacement on the administration building. We'll continue to B2 and then ultimately building A.
That's not for you.
Oh, and then building G, the lower school, the flat roof is being replaced now, so hopefully all the water intrusion will be stopped once and for all once we get done with that down there. Exterior utility work this summer from Zion Hill Road, new water line and fire line work will be happening, so we'll get new water systems to the school. Fury of activity has been happening. We have well over 100 trade personnel on the project site this week, and we envision that happening throughout the summer. So a lot going on ever since school let out. So didn't miss a beat. So things are going well so far. We can keep the rain away from us. Any questions from school board members, Dr. Cox?
No, I think once again, I try to say this at every meeting, we really appreciate your work. And we really appreciate your sensitivity to our students and to our staff and to our administrators. I think it's gone very, very smoothly. I think part of that's because we meet once every 2 weeks. I know there are a lot more meetings than that, but I know the official meeting. And we really appreciate that. I feel like we cover a lot of ground, and we appreciate what you and Mosley do. So thank you very much. I don't know if that's a question, but that's a comment.
Thank you, Dr. Cox. Thank you, board members.
Thank you.
See you next month. Action items.
So first of all, I want to welcome Mr. Stanley here. Mr. Stanley, it's always good to see you, and we really do appreciate everything you've done. I'm going to talk a little bit about studying the auditorium in just a minute. So we went to a Board of Supervisors meeting maybe 2 weeks ago, and I think we had a unanimous vote to go to a hearing for what is going to
Be next Tuesday.
Is going to be next Tuesday, and we'll be there, and look forward to it. And so I think 2 things we're talking about. I think one thing we're talking about, that's what I have in front of the board tonight, is a proposal to study the auditorium and to kind of make an assessment on the auditorium. And we know that's contingent on the vote. But I think if the vote is favorable, I think what we would like to do is to, I've worked with Mosley Architects on this, and you can see the proposal here. I think it has a pretty nice scope to it. And I have found in these projects that it's always better to have this kind of assessment and kind of study before you try to get started. And so I'm asking the board, understanding that it's contingent on the vote Tuesday night, to let us go ahead with this and to propose that. I don't think the results will come back in my time here. I think they'll come back, with Dr. Jennings. I would think probably in July. But I think for your July board meeting, that will be something that perhaps you should hear about it. And if that timeline changes, I'll let you know. Mr. Stanley, I didn't know whether you wanted to say anything or.
No, I think, the board seemed unanimous in their support of the two projects that are on that list, and we'll have a hearing next week, and, hopefully, get to go ahead and move forward.
Thank you. I need a motion.
Good job.
I'm gonna make a motion. Motion to approve the study by Mosley Architects upon contingent of vote by Board of Supervisors.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll go to B, approval. Ms. Jones?
Good afternoon, Mrs. Carson, school chair, school board members, and Dr. Cox. This evening, I stand before you to present an additional appropriation to go before the board of supervisors. Excuse me, Mrs. Excuse me, no, I'm talking about HR.
Oh,
Thank you, I lost my train of thought just like that. Presented Ms. Reamer to you all as receiving this award. So I would like to take it before the board to have it approved, to go to the Board of Supervisors.
Need a motion?
I move we approve this extra new appropriation for the hometown teacher program.
Second.
All in favor? You got enough?
Yes, that's me next.
All right, Ms. Jones.
This evening, I also stand before you seeking approval of the fuel bid that we participated in on yesterday. And we did, we had two companies, which were James River and Foster Fuel, and we chose Foster Fuel as our new company for fuel, gas, oil, diesel. And would you like for me to read the prices of those out so you all would know?
Yes, please.
For unleaded gas, it's $2.3989. For diesel fuel, it's $2.5870. For heating oil, it's $2.6800. And for propane, it's $1.2455. Wait a minute, make sure I get this right side. 55 cents, yes. Which is, the heating oil is a decrease from this previous year. The diesel oil is a decrease from this previous year. And the gasoline is a decrease. Plus propane. All of my decreases from this year.
Is this a new, this is a new vendor, we have not used them before?
We have used them in previous years. Their bid came in, we only had two bids.
Okay.
Two bids to look at, so this one was the one we chose to go with.
Was it based on the cost?
Not solely on the cost, because you have to remember that we also have a clause in there that states we have to be willing to work with that company as well, meaning they have to provide a good service to us, and if they don't, we won't choose them. So if we've had problems with the company in the past, we won't choose them again. And this particular company, the school did, and they sent them a letter, so that company we will not participate with. And I would
That's the
not.
only difference then, is that?
Mm-hmm. And a little bit on the amount of the price. It's not that much
The two were close in cost.
in cost, yes.
Mr. Johnson? Question. Did you have a question? I'm sorry.
Sorry.
When you speak of provide us with good service,
Yes, ma'am.
can you detail that a little bit?
Okay, I can detail it to a certain extent because I wasn't here when this happened.
Okay.
Example, if you're supposed to deliver to me on Tuesday and I don't get it until Friday and we got buses and vehicles that need to go, that's unacceptable. So meaning that just didn't occur once, it occurred several times. So that's an example.
Okay. I need a motion.
Motion to approve the 2025-2026 fuel bid as presented.
Second. All right, all in favor?
Thank you all.
Thank you. All right, number D. Ms. McClure.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Cox. Last month, I presented to you the applications for Title I, II, III, IV, and V. And this evening, I'm here requesting your approval.
Any questions for Ms. McClure from last month?
Not a question. Would you give us a synopsis of the proposal so we know what we're, as a reminder of what we're supposed to be voting on?
So these are our federal grants that we apply for every year.
Right.
What do you have for question?
What are we trying to accomplish?
The budget information, just have the budget information.
Just put that budget information up there.
I think that.
There you go,
Okay.
right there.
Just that.
So these are our projected funds that we will get for each program. And so I'm just asking your approval to be able to submit the applications.
This may have been asked last month and I was not here. Do we have any sense of whether or not we can count on this money?
Yes.
In light of what is happening in Washington right now?
Yes. So I don't think you have anything to worry about.
Okay.
Nothing's going to change.
We think we're
I mean,
good?
yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Okay. Any other questions?
I make a motion, we accept application as presented.
Second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Thank you all.
Thank you. All right, we are E, literacy plan, Mr. Chair.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the school board, Dr. Cox. I am here to present to you all this evening. You all have seen the literacy plan several times. This is actually a biannual plan review. Frequently, VDOE is releasing new things for us to adopt and add to the plan. So this has some of the middle school information in it. The plan that you approved earlier in the year actually had information for just elementary. So do you have one to pull up?
The textbook adoption process.
Okay, so I'll just go through it. You all have it in front. You have two versions in front of you. You have one that's highlighted, and you have one that is not highlighted. The one that's not highlighted is our clean version. The highlighted one just goes over some of the changes. So I'm just going to briefly talk about a few of the changes that we added to this plan. We added some more details about communication. You all, I think, see the curriculum and instruction newsletter that goes out monthly. We're going to just add more specific. We do add any updates from VDOE that's related to literacy, but we're going to add specific updates related to VALS and the literacy plan in every communication, and highlight that to make sure that the teachers are aware of that. Then in the report card, we're going to share student data and progress that is released from our screeners that we are doing, so the parents are aware of how their students are performing. For section 2, this is where new things were released from VDOE specific to the middle school. Supplemental and intervention materials, and then we actually looked at some things for elementary specific to our students with disabilities to make sure that we are providing something specific for them. So that's where you'll see magnetic reading foundations. That's specific for our students with disabilities. K-12, SPIRE, which phonics and word analysis is going to be specific for our L students and also students with disabilities. And then one of those is supplemental, and one of them is an intervention. If we look at middle school, we have Newsella, which teachers are used to using, but we're going to streamline how we use that with their core program as a supplement as needed for additional reading materials, and that's going to be for all students. And then we have been using Lexia. It just was not on here for middle school because we only turned in our elementary. So we will continue to use Lexia Power Up for elementary and grade 5, and then Lexia Core for grade 5, Lexia Power Up is for the middle school. The additional program is Read 180, and that is going to address students who are reading, who did not pass the SOL. The Literacy Act now requires will require VALs to be given at the middle school, which is going to identify students who are not performing on grade level, and they will need reading plans for each student, and we're going to need an intervention to provide that support. This will be part of that intervention for middle school students. Where elementary, they have some pull-out support with some PALS teachers and interventionists. The middle school does not have that, and this is a way that we're going to try and provide that intervention to students that's approved through the state. So in order to do that, we will need to have more training for the middle school. They have probably never given a VALS or even PALS if they're middle school teachers, and that is a whole experience. So there will be training for them on that. We will also continue letters training because we do have somebody in our division that is trained to be a trainer. So as the need arises, we will continue letters training for teachers that are new and that need to provide that to students. Division level core instructional training will be around the programs that we're using. Will be around making sure that they know how to use this new Read 180 program and then our core instructional programs. And then when you move to section 4, the assessments, the additional assessments here, it's going to be adding VALs to the middle school, showing where we're doing it for 4 through 8. We're still getting the exact specifications from the state on if we need to screen all students or if we just need to screen students who did not pass the SOL. But this just states that we will be giving that assessment. And then just making sure the assessments we're giving in the middle school are listed on this plan. So that's what you see for the assessments. And then just making sure we look at data. We didn't have our division level data dig listed on the plan previously, but we have quarterly division level meetings for data through all the schools, and so that we listed that here. It's because that will cover the information that they are getting from VALs. And those are the changes. I know that was quick, but you can read through it and see if you have any questions, and I'm just asking just for approval for the updates to the literacy plan.
Question. Just anybody can answer. So in a month, we're gonna have to redo this for the contact information. Can we do that preemptively, or do we have to come back and just vote on it again in a month?
So I actually emailed them, and I said, this is due June 30th, and probably most of Region 8 is gonna have a new superintendent July 1st. How would you like us to proceed? They said we have two options. We can preemptively do it, and I can turn it in July 1st,
or we can turn it in now with Dr. Cox's signature as the acting superintendent, and then I can bring it back to you all when we have, probably when we do our June end of year closeout, and we can represent it then. It is entirely up to you. They said they will accept it July 1st if I prefer to turn it in then. We won't be late.
So if we make a motion tonight to approve this to be turned in on July 1st so that Dr. Jones's name can be on the list and him sign it?
Yes, that we can do.
If that would be the way we would make the motion?
Yes. Just knowing that where it says acting superintendent, it will say superintendent, and it would have Dr. Jones.
Okay.
Any other questions? Dr. Arias?
I was just wondering whether magnetic in section 2, under magnetic reading foundations, is a description or a proper name of the company?
It's a proper name of the company.
Okay.
But it does sound like a description of what it
Yeah,
is.
that's why I never heard of magnetic reading.
So that's the proper name of the actual company.
Okay, thank you.
I need a motion.
I move we accept the division literacy plan as presented, but turning it in on July 1st so that we can put our permanent superintendent, Dr. Jones's name on it.
Second.
All in favor? All right. Go ahead.
I'm going to move right into our math textbook adoption process. We have been discussing this. So the complete process has occurred now, so I just want to walk you through the process and what happened for our math textbook adoption. So of course the purpose is to make sure we have high quality equitable math instruction across all grade levels that's aligned with VDOE's adoption guidelines. And we want to make sure it meets the instructional needs and supports of teacher success. We did prioritize, and this was definitely something we discussed here, making sure they had print and digital access, not digital alone. So that was definitely discussed as they went through this process. And this again just talks about what we went over with everyone to make sure that there was access for all students, teacher usability, long-term sustainability, and resources that would be available over time as we made adoption decisions. Who was involved were math teachers, special education, L teachers, the mentors, building administrators, and then central office curriculum team. They reviewed the materials using the VDOE rubric that they suggest. It was collaborated by the grade bands. They attended weekly meetings, and then they also participated in vendor presentations and recommended final selections. We also had the opportunity for one of the textbook materials that we had for 2 of our teachers to use it in their classrooms since January, so they could really get a good feel. And that would have been Math 8 at the middle school, and then secondary, I believe, Algebra 1 used it. This was the timeline for the adoption. We did a teacher needs survey, the committee was formed, they did textbook review meetings weekly, vendor presentations, recommendations were finalized, there was community engagement and review, and then here we're recommending a final selection to you all. And then in July, our hope is that we can have the vendors, the companies come and provide training to our curriculum writing teams while we do our summer curriculum writing. And then this just again shows you stakeholder involvement and how they were engaged in this process. This is the VDOE approved textbooks that were additionally originally reviewed. So the teachers looked at all of these and then they narrowed it down on what they thought, because when you look at this many, you really can't do a deep dive. So they broke this down based on what they saw, and a lot of it had to do with alignment. If it wasn't fully aligned, they just didn't even look at it because it wasn't going to serve our purposes. So looking at the textbooks here, what they decided to review in depth was STEM Scopes Math, because that is actually what they use for science at the elementary school, so they kind of wanted to see would the program allow for some cross-curricular planning, and then Kidham, Virginia. The secondary math space was really all that the teachers wanted to look at. It's what they practice with since January, and it is completely aligned. It is the only textbook material that we've seen that is only Virginia-based. Everything else is nationwide, and they have core, Common Core, where we look at Virginia alignment. This is fully Virginia standard. So we have not seen that in the past, so the teachers were very excited about that. So STEM scope, this just gives you the strengths and the weaknesses. This was the one that elementary school looked at that they have for science, and they were not impressed. So you can see it has quite a few weaknesses, and pretty much the alignment was only at 80%, which is not aligned enough for us. And then when you look at the teacher resources, it was scored below 3.8, ease of use is 2.8, and student resources was 3. So when given the survey, 18 out of 19 elementary teachers preferred the other.
What was, I'm
textbook.
sorry, which was this one?
This is STEM scope for elementary school. It's the one they have for science.
Okay.
They reviewed it for math as well. Kidham for elementary school, that's the list of strengths. So it definitely outscored STEM scope. 95% aligned to the math standards. And again, this is not solely math curriculum. So for us to find something that's solely Virginia based, for it to be 95% aligned, that's a good alignment. And then the survey results shows that the teacher resources, ease of use, and student resources are above 4 for all of them. The only problem they saw was not a large amount of L support, so we'll have to supplement that. So we know that going in. And then math space, this shows you what they liked. It was 100% aligned, built specifically for math. It includes the newly embedded data cycle standards, which have come out with the new math standards from VDOE. And it's partnered with Desmos, which is really going to help as they use the Desmos calculator to do a lot of the work for especially our upper level math. And it's aligned to our CIP, which is where we get a lot of our assessments. So the pacing is going to be completely aligned for the teachers, which they definitely liked. So all of that to say that they chose, they are recommending Kidham for K through 5, and then math space for 6 through 12, including geometry, algebra 2, and the secondary levels. And I'm just asking for the board's approval on the teachers' recommendations of these textbooks. Yes?
I have a question. How do Virginia standards differ from the standards of the other states?
So I would say the new standards, as we're getting new standards, especially our math standards, are closely mirror Common Core standards. And they're beginning to write them a lot like they would write the Common Core. So for example, we used to have, if it was 5th grade, it would be 5.1. We no longer write the standards that way. Now it'll say number sense 1 for 5th grade, which is how Common Core does theirs. So they're trying to match them where they can, and you're seeing similarities across the standards.
Common Core, when you said that, it took me back many years, too many years. They're actually writing the standards, or they are written as in the Common Core verbiage.
So that's how all the other textbook companies write theirs aligned with Common Core standards, and we then have to get an additional document that aligns Virginia standards to any of the materials we get, because everything else is written based on Common Core. A lot of the material is the same, but the numbers won't line up. So when you're looking for a standard and you go in the textbook and I want to find, when we used to use 5.1, it won't say 5.1, it's going to give you the Common Core standard. So then we get a correlation chart from the companies, and then we match them up. Because Virginia's, we're unique.
We decided not to do it.
Yeah, we're unique. So that's what we do for all textbooks.
But this new math one is,
But the math one, we don't have to. It's gonna state the Virginia standard. If a teacher wants to search for a Virginia standard, they
it's gonna
can.
be right there.
And that's what they liked. And I mean, the other textbook companies have really worked to make that an easier process, but it's still a process.
Common Core. We've gone a long way since Common Core initially. Okay. All right, you have a question, Mr. Thomas?
No, motion.
I know, go.
I'm thinking this questions. Motion to approve the math textbook adoption as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. All right. BSBA, updated policies.
That's me. I think y'all had an opportunity to take a look at these last month. This is up for second read. If there's any questions, the changes are there before you. Hopefully you had a chance to actually read them. If you have any questions, I'm happy to try to answer them. I will just warn you that we got, I think it's like 84 new updates from VSBA that we will be looking at over the next months. So when we send them to you, just so that it doesn't take so long, it looks like very few of them have very few have any substantial changes. It's mostly just verbiage, similar to most of these. But we'll highlight the ones that are big changes for you to look at. But otherwise, I would entertain a motion to approve these updated policies, if there are no questions.
So moved.
Second.
And second. All in favor? Go to number 13. All right, H, school board member salary, school board members. We talked about this going to the board last month, and we looked at the salaries of school board members in the area and a couple outside our area. If we want to do something, we want to increase our salary, we have to do that before July 1st, right? So, you had time to think about it? Does anybody have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we, starting July 1st, to be consistent with the Amelia County, which would be $500 monthly.
Motion on the floor?
Second.
Second? Any questions?
So this will put the yearly amount at 6,000, right? That's, okay.
In a particular reason why you have chosen to do that?
I looked at, my rationale was just looking at the entire region and looking at over the years, of course, just coming on the board, this being my second year, but all the previous years, not knowing really how many years. We know it's been several years, minimally, that Prince Edward County has been the lowest. So, and there's some that are higher than Amelia, and some that are lower,
Colonial Beach.
and some that are
I
lower.
really just go for Colonial Beach.
So I'm just, I don't mind a bit to take my motion back.
No.
No.
I think it's a fair, the reason I chose that amount, I thought it was fair to start with. And then in the future, it can be something that can be revisited. Of course,
Yeah.
coming on just my second year, it's been several years that this has never come up. So I want to commend Ms. Jones, brought this to our attention in the finance committee meeting last month, that this was something that was shared with her across the Region 8 finance directors. And so I commend her to share that, bring that forth, and just you know, in the absence of information, we know not. So,
Okay. Ms. Kipper?
Well, if, and I don't know how to do this, because I'd like to, can I add on to his motion? Or how would I do that? Amend it to add into the addition of the 500, because I really think that the chair, because I know how much, on top of what all we do, the extra meetings and things that, the chair does. And I notice in some of the counties have extra pay for the chair, and I really think that is, deserved. And so I don't know how we add that on.
So we would do
I
two
do.
separate motions.
I do too.
Do a separate motion to that?
Need something separate. and I
Okay,
think we'll bring
all right,
that-
let's do
we'll bring
that.
that up next.
Excuse me, may I speak for 1 second?
Yes, you may.
The chair and the vice chair do get extra already. Are you asking for additional to what they get extra already?
Well, I just know, I didn't, well, no offense, I didn't know I got any extra. No, you can tell in your paycheck. But anyway, if the vice chair gets any, that's great, but I think that the chair should get substantially, because here in Amelia, they got an extra $1,500 a year. And I don't think, Prince Edward, we do get a little bit, I do get a little extra. But I'm not even, that's not an issue for me. But I do think that the chair, the vice chair doesn't do that much extra. So I'll just do an extra motion just for the just for the chair.
But we appreciate all you do.
Well, I appreciate that, thank you.
This goes into effect next year, right?
July 1.
July 1. So, we need to vote on
His first,
Who's that, Dr.
I believe he made the motion and you seconded it.
Yes.
So we just need to vote.
for
All
that.
right, all in favor of the motion? All in favor?
Dr. Eady?
No, I'm not.
I'll take it.
Okay.
Oh, so you're voting no?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, is there another motion?
Yes, I'd like to move that, that the chair, whoever that may be, receive an additional, whatever that is, 1,500 divided by 12. $125 per month. So for a total of $625 for the chair.
Second.
Got a second, all right. Any other questions to talk about this? All right, all in favor?
I want to add one more motion.
Okay.
The vice chair is motion, the similar motion that was previously made, so money for the vice chair, about half of that amount of the chair. Because I do think that is so it'd be 75 per.
Kathleen?
6250.
Yes, that motion, that amount for the vice chair as additional compensation.
All right,
It's a motion.
that makes a motion, do we have a second?
You said half.
Which is
Half of the 125.
of 1,500.
Oh,
Chairs
so
get
75.
125, yeah.
My math's not good. Okay.
Sorry.
And may I ask one more question?
Yes.
You all have voted. Is this in addition to what the chair and the vice chair already receives?
No,
Or
this would
is
be
this
new
this-
numbers.
This would be the new
New
amount?
numbers.
Yeah, new number.
Second.
Yes.
Did somebody
Someone
second?
already seconded.
And then, did we vote?
We haven't voted, we haven't voted.
Okay. On that third motion, okay.
I've got a motion from Mr. Townsend and a second from Mr. Tackett, so we just need to vote.
We need to vote, everybody?
Yes.
All in favor?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, before we go forward, are we gonna, like a press release or anything like that, in terms of control, like a narrative?
Because
I know it'll go out in a minute.
it's gonna be
but I just don't
watched
wanna-
by, the, So maybe we do need to put out a press release, just that do we know how many years it's been since, but we know it's been at least 15? Isn't that what you told us last month?
I don't think I gave you all a year because I didn't know.
It'd been so
Because-
long ago.
Yes, because the previous, finance director, said it had only increased once
Yeah, I know.
since they were here.
And how long were they here?
Yeah,
Long
I've been on
time.
it.
Long
This
time.
is increased
Long time.
every time I've been-
And how many years have you been on it?
16 years.
16? Okay. Well, Dr. Cox, can you write us up something?
I can work with Ms. Jones, and I'd be
Okay.
happy to write up something, and then we'll send it to y'all before we send it.
Okay.
How about that?
Because very small.
That would be, okay, good
Yeah.
idea.
Get on.
That's why we keep you over in my phone. All right, now we'll go to non-action. From board members, this is our school board, governance norms and protocols, coming to be reviewed and voted on by you. They're not tonight, but next month. Please review them, so when you come to vote for them, if you have questions, we can kind of work it out then. If you have questions before then, please let me know, and I'll try to answer your question. If there's something in there that you think doesn't apply to us, that we don't need to be made, we did this last year. We made some changes last year, but please take time to review it and come next month ready to vote on this, okay? And it's a good time because it's starting new physical year, July 1st, July, you know that. So if we want to change anything, now is the time to do it. Information items. Kindergarten, pre-K, update. Ms. McClure.
Good evening again, Madam Chair, members of the board, and Dr. Cox. This evening is just an informational item because I want you guys to be aware that the VDOE this year has asked that we make sure that our pre-K attendance requirements align with our local division policy. So in your board packs, you will see the compulsory attendance policy that we have on file, which is JEA. And then you also have a attachment that has the Code of Virginia, which shows that for the teacher's registrar, I want you to specifically pay attention to a pupil shall be dropped from the roll and marked withdrawn when number 3, a pupil has been absent for 15 consecutive days or more. We had some situations this past school year where we had students pre-K students that missed more than 15 consecutive days, and they were not dropped because compulsory attendance only is for kindergarten to 12th grade. So the DOE this year has asked that we, not just Prince Edward, but all schools in the state of Virginia align their pre-K attendance policies with our K-12 policies. So no change in policy, just want you all to, as the board, to be aware that Prince Edward will be enforcing, that will go out in the expectations when we do orientation, and it went out in the expectations and the letters this week, not that specifically, and then we will go over at orientation, and then we will let parents know when they bring their children in August. Any questions?
Does that mean then if they exceed 15 days, then they're no longer eligible, they can't come back?
So what will happen is, we have 2 children this year, for instance, that sat on the wait list. If we had dropped, I had one specific child that missed 46 days. So if that child had been dropped, then those children that were sitting on the wait list could have been brought in. And so it is important that we go ahead and set the habits and set the standards and let them know that being on time, present, all day, every day is the expectation here.
Definitely,
Yeah, absolutely.
definitely.
And that's
Mr.
Sorry.
Johnson?
Go ahead.
There was something that happened, I can't remember exactly, but there was something like, it was a half day or teacher work day where like the K-12 students had to come, but the pre-K students didn't, or something like that. If I could-
Yes.
So this would mean, in that same situation, pre-K students just come to school anyway? Like, I can't remember exactly why it happened, but.
So I don't know,
I might be,
so probably what it was on the day of pre-K registration, our pre-K students have a remote
Okay.
learning day, because we need our pre-K teachers and
Yes.
assistants to help us with registration. So on that particular day, every year, the pre-K students do stay home on that day, but that is not, they're not counted absent. They're
Right.
counted absent if they don't come to school on a day that we expect them
Right.
to be here.
makes sense.
Any other questions?
And would that mean that they have to go by our attendance policies and everything
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
related in there? Pre-K would have.
Yes, ma'am. And we will still follow the same policy, you know, we bring you in, we talk to you about an attendance plan.
Procedure and stuff.
What are the reasons, you know, what are your barriers or why you can't get to school? What can we do to help? So all those supports will still be in place. Ms. Kimbrough?
So,
We won't be, turning them into like truancy and that kind of thing, we'll just drop them from the roll, or will we?
Same process.
Same process.
Same
So-
process that we follow for K-12.
So will then, we need to, as a board, take a look at policy JEA, since it says children who have reached their 5th birthday on or before September 30th? Will we need to change that to read 4th birthday? Dr. Cox, would we need that be a Stacy question? Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
thank you, Ms.
Thank you all.
Do you make another one? Do you make another?
Oh, yes.
Ms. Foster, academic discussion, CE presentation.
Good afternoon again, Madam Chair, school board members, and Dr. Cox. This afternoon, I'll be going over the credential list, basically how many credentials we got this year in comparison to last year, and do a spotlight on the graduating class. So it'd be very brief. In the 2024-2025 school year, and this encompasses all grades, we had, actually this is the old slide. I apologize. This is not. Mr. Crabtree, were you able to?
That's all we got.
That's what I was getting from this lady.
Okay. That's the old presentation. Is there a way that I can access my Google Drive
Sure.
and bring it up? I apologize, guys.
Nothing personal, Mr. Foster, but
We're gonna move on.
So, move on. We haven't forgotten about it. They'll come back. Dr. Cox, elementary school fencing.
Yeah, so this kind of follows the discussion that we had earlier on, that was an action item. Just to kind of give you an update, I've been working with Jennifer Katz and Stephen Halsey at Mosley about the fence. And so I think the question is gonna be whether it will come out of contingency funding or PCO, and they're supposed to give me some clarification on that. But that's the nice thing about having the supervisors hearing on Tuesday night, is that you will get that CIP money. And in my humble opinion, and that's probably what it is, I will put the fence up no matter what funding it comes out of, but I'll let you know.
Okay.
But I just kind of wanted to bring that up, and I'm supposed to get some new photos of it with a gate, because they wanted to add a gate to it. So as soon as I get those, I'll send, I'm sorry I didn't have those tonight, I'll send those out. But I think that's a very exciting project. And the last piece about that is that as we talked to them, we have assigned a time frame to that, and the time frame is to have it done before school starts in the upcoming year. So.
Any questions for Dr. Cox? All right, Mr. Foster.
I apologize, guys. Let's reset, right?
Not a problem.
Okay, so during the 2024-2025 school year, and that's the top row there were 78 students or 78 WISE tests that were credentials that were achieved, 21 cybersecurity, 36 NCRC, 2 workplace readiness, and we had 3 students that actually finished the CNA program and got the license, 1 serve safe, and 48 externships. You can see that in comparison to the previous year, we did much better in externships. We really quadrupled the number there, and we were up in every other category besides the workplace readiness and serve safe. But when we look at the spotlight on the graduating class, we had 46 graduating students that had the WISE certificate, 11 cybersecurity, 36 NCRC, 25 workplace readiness, 3 CNAs again. We had 6 students, actually it's 2 students that earned credentials in Excel, Word, and PowerPoint, Microsoft, 3 serve safe, and 70 of our kids were CTE completers, which is approximately 62% of our graduating class. And 38% of our class participated in externships. And I imagine that will just continue to grow and get more and more each year.
Yeah. Any questions?
Yes, ma'am.
So, there has to be a reason why we went from 44 last year to 2 this year on workplace readiness.
I'm not sure why just 2 tested this year on workplace readiness. When we look at that in comparison to the graduating class, now we had the graduating class, we had 25.
Right.
But I'm not sure why.
Okay. Because that's the most glaring number that, is the serve safe, what is that? Is that culinary?
That's
culinary,
yes,
okay.
ma'am.
And NCRC?
That's just a general workplace readiness or some type of, I'm sorry, not some type, but it's a general certificate where it's similar to the workplace readiness.
Okay.
So it could just be those numbers got sprinkled out over kind of diversity of other opportunities. It might not be the overall pool has gone down, but maybe that 44 decided to do other things, or maybe they got it a previous year or something like that.
Maybe they went over to
Yeah, because when you're looking at the
NCRC.
graduating class, you're looking at, over the period of time that they were able to get that. So, when I looked at last year, 2023, 2024, they had, they had 44. So I'm not certain, but I can find out if you'd like me to.
Well, overall, the numbers look very good. I just wondered if there was that
But
similarity.
25 of the 44 were juniors last year.
Yes.
Must have been, yes, yes.
That's so.
Well, more than likely, yes. But again, they have the whole 4 years to get these credentials. So I don't want to say yes that all of them came from last year, the workplace readiness.
Since there were 25 seniors, that's our.
Well,
Since there
25
were
seniors.
25
Yes.
graduated.
Graduating students. Yes, sir.
Graduated with that.
And when I look at, some of the comparisons, because I did do that, typically with externships, internships, you're looking around 10 to 20% of your graduating class. So we are really, double there. So, and based on what I can tell, the readiness component at the high school is doing very well.
Good.
Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
The students who did not make the grade per se, what opportunities are available for them to get their certificates or credentials? For instance, I'm looking at the Serve Safe 2 or 3 that may not have done what they should have done. So do they get an opportunity, or any of them, with any of the divisions, do they get an opportunity to make up their sessions or their, to get their certificate should they not pass and get their certificate in their senior year?
Well, they have multiple opportunities to, if they fail, they can test again. And then if they say if they're going for the culinary and they don't pass that, because some of these more specialized credentials are tougher, they can go into the workplace readiness or NCRC and attach that to their class, and there would still be a full, I don't know if I'm making sense. So let's pretend that there's a student that has culinary 1 and culinary 2.
Right.
And then they try to take the serve safe and fail.
Right.
But they want to get that credential attached to their sequential course. If they can't pass the serve safe, they could take the workplace readiness, and that will attach the credential to the sequential classes. And if they can't do the workplace readiness, they can maybe do the NCRC that can attach to the
I want my
classes.
serve safe credential.
Some of these tests are tough. Some of them are tough. Yes, yes.
And I agree, so that's why I'm asking, maybe I'm not asking the right question. What is the next available opportunity to get that credential?
If they don't get it in high school, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I mean, you don't
Let's
get
say
it
I
here.
graduate and I didn't get it. Can they go somewhere else to get it?
I'm not, I don't want to say, I don't want to speak on that because I don't want to tell you something that's incorrect. I'm not certain. If they can leave here and go get the credentials somewhere else, like in college or trade school, I'm not.
Training in post-secondary,
I'm not certain.
pursue post-secondary
But-
endeavors.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Dr. Quorum?
When do they test then? Do they, I mean, when is it when they actually do complete it right away at the time when they're, or is there a specific time in which they test?
It depends. Some are in the fall, most of them are in the spring though. WISE, or the WISE test is, in the spring and, in the fall and in the spring. But the vast majority of our credential testing takes place in the spring,
Okay,
so.
so it's at the end of the spring semester?
Most of them, yes, sir. Some of these were just done probably 3, 4 weeks ago. Okay.
All right, thank you, Mr.
All right,
Quorum.
thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're on D, middle school gym, school board committee, members, Mr. Townsend.
Yes, composition of our committee has had to change a bit due to some staff transitioning. However, the meeting will be held on June the 26th via Zoom, and we plan to bring you an update to vote hopefully by the July meeting.
What time is the meeting?
We're gonna meet at 6 p.m. on Zoom.
Do we know who's on the committee? Have you already announced that?
I didn't know if I was supposed to or not. There's like about 10 folks. So
Okay.
Lucy, Ozora, and I, 2 members of staff, and then 5 community members.
Okay.
On the venue?
The naming.
The naming.
Oh, the name.
Facility naming.
What?
I think 10 is more than enough, but we shouldn't need more than a meeting or so to get through what we need to get through.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna move along. Thank you. Any questions, other questions for Mr. Townsend? Okay. All right, calendar, Dr. Cox.
Yes, so the calendar, we have started summer division work hours, so that's Monday through Thursday, 7:30 to 5. I think that's always well received in every school division I've ever been in, so the same is here. Summer school starts Monday, June the 9th, goes through the 26th. We have Juneteenth holiday on June 19th, and the school division's closed. And then we have our year-end closeout meeting, 5:30 on June the 25th. And the rest of it's in July, if you want me to go over any of that. I think that takes you through June, so. And then, for the superintendent's report, I had, 4 things. One is, and actually, Dr. Corbett and I got to, I don't know if it's a stage that we shared, but a podium that we shared at the Meharon Town Council.
Oh, yeah.
And so, Dr. Jones came as well. And so the fascinating thing is, Mr. Townsend and the Board of Supervisors has just always been very since I've been here. He says, well, why don't you come and introduce Dr. Jones? I said, well, I don't mind doing that. And I said, but there are gonna be more people in the audience that know him than me. That's okay, I did it anyway, and I think it went very, very well. And I think we had a very good representation of the school division and got a chance to talk about some of the things that we're doing and maybe some of our plans for the future, so I thought that went very, very well. Thoroughly enjoyed the graduations here, I really did. I think for me, one of the real neat things about coming to new places is you get to see new traditions and you get to see how people do things. And I can tell you, in Colonial Heights, we're gonna rename the 4th and 8th grade the Stepping Stones. I love that. I don't know, that's exactly what you're doing. So I thought that was very nice, and very nice for 8th grade and for elementary school as well. Thoroughly enjoyed what really was. As was the graduation. I just thought it was very well done and certainly enjoyed it. And on another note, today, the Farmville Herald printed our retractions. It was actually in the written part. And so, I know we had talked about that in the last board meeting. So what we did was, and I think I sent this out to everyone, I mean to all the board members before we sent it out, but we did send it out to staff, I think maybe a day or two after the board meeting, just to kind of let them know, and really didn't hear anything about it, so hopefully that was good. And then one of the things we talked about at the last board meeting was thinking about looking at different venues for school board meetings, however that ends up looking when all is said and done. So I did have an opportunity today to talk to everyone that had expressed an interest, and we're going to look at June the 25th because we have the end of year meeting and maybe doing something before that, since everybody's going to be here, since we kind of walk around. And part of the reason I wanted to do it then is I think Dr. Jones is planning on coming to that meeting, and I certainly wanted him to be a part of that. So that will be a report, I would assume, that will come to you in July when he's here. But just wanted everyone to know that we're kind of taking a look at that. So then you have correspondence, and I think some appropriation pieces and some things like that, and some different kinds of letters. And then also, I know I'm going to get the name of it wrong, but no, I'm not, here's the page. Curriculum and Instruction News. And Ms. Garrett, I think that's yours, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And it's very well done, by the way. I did. It actually was entertaining too. I really liked that. I had a chance to take a look at it and just thought it had a lot of nice pieces in it. And you know, there are a lot of different ways to promote your school division. I still think this is a very good way to do that. So my commendations for that. And that's all I have.
Board member comments? Do you have any comments from board members?
I have one.
Okay.
June, I think it's a lot of things, but it's really the month that we focus on mental health. And as I was reading, I was alarmed by some of the expectations surrounding the mental health of men and males and our male students. And as I was reading some more, I realized that the governor has signed this bill, the Bell to Bell bill. And so therefore, it is designed to help with the mental health of our students. So I think the last meeting we had, we kind of left it with some needed details. Mr. Good is gone. So if we need to revisit that, you know, let's not forget to do that. Because this is Mental Health Month for everybody. You'd be surprised how we all, you know, out there sometimes and we don't know it.
We can what?
And we don't know it. Yeah. So just take a moment, pull away from the screens and all of that other stuff and give yourself a break.
Thank you. I also noticed the thing with the governor, with the bill, that it's been written into law now, so we have to make
Take a
sure
look
we
at it.
take a look at the policy that we have. Yes, Mr. Johnson.
I just was gonna say, thank you for a great year, and please take my children back. No, I'm kidding. Thank y'all sincerely for the great year, and please, to all the teachers, staff, faculty, admin, please take self-care time this summer, recharge the batteries, because it's been a long one. So I just wanna appreciate y'all for all y'all have done, and looking forward to seeing that more progress with the beautiful elementary school behind me. That's really great to see too. So enjoy your summer.
Likewise, commend our staff across the district, the division, working with almost 1,900 students, our children, the future. It's a difficult, I'll tell you, a group of students, whether it's elementary, middle, or high, come in contact with, same way for staff members. Totally different as far as difficulty compared to 5 years ago, 10 years ago, in educating our students now. So they're to be commended, and likewise, get recharged this summer, because August 5th is around the corner. But you do have almost two months to recharge.
Not quite, yeah, they get
To
to
be
look early.
commended, and again, our division leaders here at the board office, they're to be commended too, because just because school's ended a couple weeks ago, closing out the year is a difficult time on them, and we really appreciate the leadership that we have here at the district level, from superintendent all the way with the directors or coordinators or supervisors, and all of our office staff here to be commended, because of what's going on behind the scenes. A lot of people in the community, and even out at the schools, unless they really are sitting in that seat, they don't fully realize what is going on to make our division successful. I feel like it's been a good year because of everyone working collaboratively together to get to this point. So I appreciate each of you that's sitting at the table.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I know we have one more meeting in June, but nobody ever comes to that one, so
Yes, we do like people to come to that one.
We invite you to come, but no one ever comes to that one. So I want to publicly thank Dr. Cox, because this will be his last big board meeting with us. And again, I can't express how much we've appreciated your leadership this past school year. It's been difficult, but actually very calming, and that is due in a large part to your leadership, and we appreciate it so much. I also want to thank everybody at the school level here at the school board office for all your hard work, because it has been a challenging year. And we appreciate you hanging in there with us, and we look forward to a new day coming July 1. So we're excited.
We did say some things to, we wasn't doing closed session, okay?
We came out of closed session.
We came out.
Okay.
And telling Dr. Cox how we wanted to thank him so much for all of his help, his leadership during this year, and everybody else who stepped up to the plate and said, okay, this is what we need to do.
Yes.
Let's do it. You know, no sense in just waiting for somebody else to do it, or sit around, or I'm not gonna do it, we got it done. Hey, it's June. We made it.
You did.
We made it. We couldn't have made it without each other. Everybody pitching in and doing their part. And that's what it's about. It's about being a team. You know, you might not be your job to pick up the trash, but if you see trash, pick it up with the trash can. That's what you do. And that's what makes us a team. As we did in our superintendent search, we had fun. Fun. It was a growing time for us, and I think we grew. And I told y'all that before. I don't know why y'all say I'm telling the story. I think we did grow. We got closer. Then some people we got harder, but then we came back and we knew what we had to do. We had to get a superintendent, and I think we made a great choice. But we couldn't have done it. It wasn't just my job. It was our job. So You can't say, oh, hey, Lucy Carson, no. The board decided on this. This is a board decision. But it's almost over. Any other comments? And then we have to go back into closed session again, one more time, and then we'll be gone. But thank you, Dr. Cox.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank y'all.
Go back.
You ready? I'm ready, yes. We gotta go back in.
Okay, and which of the closed sessions are we going back into?
A,
A, okay.
And C.
C.
Okay, need a motion?
I move we go back into closed session to discuss A and C.
Second.
All in favor?
And the roll call vote. Feel again, or can I just do
No.
roll? Okay. All right, Mr. Townsend?
Yes.
Ms. Stiff?
Yes.
Dr. Ariady?
Yes.
Ms. Kimbrough?
Yes.
Ms. Carson?
Yes.
Dr. Corbett?
Yes.
Mr. Tackett?
Yes.
All right.
Open the door, thank you. Okay. All right.
With regard to student A, the disciplinary appeal, I move that we change the repercussions of the infraction from the first 9 weeks at New Horizons to the first 4 weeks at New Horizons for the 2025-26 school year.
Okay, so it's instead of the first 9, it's the first 4.
First 4,
Got it.
yes.
Okay.
Second.
Okay.
Second, all in favor?
And Dr. Corbett, you're voting no? Okay.
All right.
Okay.
B.
Motion to approve 2 religious exemptions as presented.
Second?
All in favor?
Okay.
And
I move that we approve the personnel
file, list.
list as presented by Dr. Cox.
Second.
Okay.
All in favor? That's it?
That's it.
That's it.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
And second? All in favor? Have a good evening.
You know, in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Got it.